Hi, Jai Hind, Hare Krishna. Though this video is in specific for the fifth Pharm D students who are entering into doing a research, a dissertation to be submitted to their respective universities as an academic process, this video will be more useful for the second, third, and fourth Pharm D students. I keep saying that taking a certificate or getting a certificate for Pharm D is no big fun. But actually, this is all about practicing. See, practice do not make man perfect. The right practices makes man perfect. So, how do we know that we are doing the right practice? We have to learn from the past. We have to learn from experiences of the people. That's why we do a literature survey. We do everything based on evidences, right? So we are not saying anything, we are saying everything based on the evidences. So as an individual, a pharmacist do not put his opinion unless he is experienced in a particular field and he becomes an expert in it. So now typically what happens is with the fifth year students, when they come into the in the last 2 years, they are expected to do a research project to submit as a part of the academic process. So at that time when we start discussing, people say, I have an idea like that, I have an idea like this. See, your subjects are very well planned from the first year, second year, third year, fourth year. Like there is a research methodology in the fourth year, and there is biostatistics, and what are the ethics to be followed, and all those things are there very well planned into various years. In the first few years you talk about pharmacology, pharmacotherapeutics, etc., and all those things. So PharmD is more about common sense and presence of mind integrated into the pharmacy education, right? So you have a software, you have the past, you have the evidences in front of you, you have a healthcare team around you. So how are you going to add value? That's what is the most important question. Just taking a certificate, putting a doctor in front of your name is not going to help. So coming to fifth year, when we talk about research, there are few funny questions that how do we do a protocol before getting approval from the hospital? How can I get an ethical clearance and then start a research? Like all these things are covered in your ethics subjects, which if we would have read it properly, we could have understood. The first step is planning. So the time that is taken to cut a tree may be less, but to sharpen the axe is more. That's what we have learned. So, right, discipline is the first lesson which we will have to understand. We can't learn swimming just by standing on the shores and then trying to follow some YouTube channels and try to swim. We need to know the subjects in a proper manner, and then we will have to jump into it. It's a systematic process. When we have not studied the subjects with an orientation of implementing it, or how or why is it useful for me, why should I know this, how can I utilize this. The end question that any pharmd should ask is there a benefit to the patient or to the medical fraternity or to me myself or to this world or the general public or to any one life, at least a human being? Is it going to help, my research is going to help or not? So just doing a research and observation study, a systematic review is not. What is the purpose? The purpose should be delivering the ultimate therapy to the patient to get the better outcome, which is now not present, and you are going to bring it. So in every study need not be there need not be a novelty, but then every study should have some basic common sense of delivering something rather than just submitting it as a paper to get a certificate. See, certificates, I always say the five qualities of a student, and anybody, whatsoever level they have studied in their life, they are going to be students, right? Even in a research, though I have done a PhD or somebody else has done a PhD, they don't know everything under the sun. When a group of research students come to me, if you expect that I will tell everything about the project as I am a doctorate in pharmacy, that does not mean I am an expert under the entire sun. So I am also equally a new researcher to join you. A guidance is like, it's a systematic process. What should be done first, what should be done next. But then every researcher, every human being is unique. And so you will have your own thought process. When you are going to the hospitals from the second year, keep your eyes and ears open, keep your mind open. Why, what, where, when, how, all these questions have to be applied with every individual case that you are going to see. And that automatically leads to a gap which is not answered in the academic area or in the scientific arena, where you will have to bridge the gap by doing a research, and that's what is going to be realistic research. Finding a question, doing like that, doing this one drug utilization evaluation, one prescription analysis for the sake of doing it is not going to help it. You will have to do it with an idea of adding value as a Pharm D. As a clinical pharmacist, how am I going to do it? As a hospital pharmacist, how am I going to add value to the existing system? So you are getting added to the system so that you can do something new. Every individual has got that potential to do something new or add a value. If not new, at least add a value. So newness is not the criteria. The criteria is going to be how, what value addition you are going to do by doing the study. Now somebody comes with a topic which has already been researched, say 100 times or 200 times. Now, are you going to add some value into the same area? You can do that. If you're not going to add value, then need not do the same topic because it's already done, well done. Or if you find that there is a gap in all the studies that are done already, you can do that. So you cannot just do what others have done already and say it is my research. You cannot claim, right? So the same way, if there is a gap, if there is an area where you want to work, if there is an area where there is a mistake or where you have a separate hypothesis you want to test it, then you will be able to naturally push to the question called research. So for which from the second year, when you go to the hospital, when you take the first SOAP, you have to have your common sense and presence of mind without whiling away time or wasting, saying that, all this is done already, so everything is available. No, you are there to make a value addition. Every individual can change a patient's life. So that's how every day we can change a patient's life. So that's how we have to approach. For us, the patient may be new, for us, the subjects may be old, for us, it is going to be a routine. But as a patient, when I go to a hospital, my expectation is we ask the nurse about the laboratory findings sometimes, right? So before we come into pharmacy, everything, we think that the nurse knows everything and we ask the nurse, Illa normal? Is that normal? Everything is normal? What does the doctor say? Everything is okay? When they come for a blood test or a height and a weight measurement also, is my weight okay? Is my height okay? We ask. So the same expectation is going to be there from you from the field when you go and join as a clinical pharmacist. You go into any field. You go to a hospital as a clinical pharmacist, you join a clinical research company, you go to a pharmaceutical company as a medical writer, or whatever it is, you ought to have presence of mind and common sense, without which just doing a research, trying to do a research without a protocol and trying to finalize the instrument, the questionnaire, before the protocol has been done. No, it's wrong. There is a step, there is a systematic process for everything. There is a systematic process in governance, in administration, in spirituality, in studies, in research, in everything. So the first thing is to have a plan, and to have a detailed plan is what is called as a protocol. And to take permission from a doctor, from a hospital, from an ethics committee, from your own guide and everything, you need to be clear with your plan. Unless you are convinced with your plan, you cannot become an advocate for your plan and defend it when somebody questions about it. So make a plan, present the plan. And what is the plan? The plan is literally walking till the conclusion of the study. Not that expected result means it has to be always positive. No, your results can be negative. So negative results do not mean the research itself has become negative. No, sorry. So does not mean that I did an intervention and I need a chi-square test which is very significant and I have to prove that my intervention was right. No, I'm very sorry. Even if the intervention did not work, you will have to report it as it did not work. And so the study is a study. It is a research. It is not going to be an end. Somebody else is going to take it from there. You may do another study from there. So please don't think that as research should always end up in a positive manner. How can I do this? I have just an idea, so I just jumped into it. It is like jumping into the water without knowing swimming or without having a lifeboat, right? So life jacket. So you cannot do like that. There should be a plan, and a plan should always have a way and means, and you should know the scope of your study. What are the negatives of the study? If something can go wrong, it will go wrong for sure. So how are you going to stop it from not going wrong? Say example, patient adherence, medication adherence. The patient says I have taken the tablet, but you check the strip, right? So if the patient can even say, a half truth or a lie, you are going to find it out from the strip of the tablet. So these are ways and methods of checking ourselves that the research is going to be right. Ultimate aim is I have to provide the right solution to the patient. So we have to understand DRPs, drug related problems, how to provide pharmaceutical care, all these things under the. Now, am I going to do everything? Am I expected to do everything? Yes, of course. So the doctor on one side, the patient on the other side, you are going to be the bridge. And so you will have to open your eyes and ears, close your mouth, observe. And then while counseling also, my suggestion is give patient based, localized, customized solutions to the patient. Don't say, in Tamil Nadu eat kiwi fruits, take cranberry. Tell them in Tamil what it is, tell them in Kannada, tell them in Telugu, tell them in Hindi what it is to take, what food should be taken. Don't give a diabetes chart which contains, cornflakes and muesli and all those oats and everything. In India, you have to talk about upma, you have to talk about idli, you have to talk about paratha, you have to, so like those things, the common sense and presence of mind should prevail above everything, and that's what is going to connect us with the patient. Finally, please remember, kaka cheshta bakodhyanam shwana nidra alpahari grihatyagi vidyarthi panchalakshana. For a student, these are the five lakshanas, no, five identification for a student. Kaka cheshta, curiosity of a crow. Bakodhyanam, the focus of a crane. Shwana Nidra, sleep like a dog. So you always be alert so that any point comes in your mind, the dream that comes in your mind, that also is talking about your passion. Right? Bakodhyanam, Shwana Nidra, Alpahari, eat less, Grihatyagi, come out of comfort zone of the home. I can't go there, I can't do this. No, for learning, you will have to stretch, right? So you need to do all these things so that you can become a wonderful learner, like Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, the rocket man of India, says that dream is not something that comes in your sleep, but dream is something which does not allow you to sleep, right? So that passion is what is the driving force for any PharmD to be successful. And today, the opportunities for PharmDs have increased. And if somebody says, only foreign opportunities, abroad opportunities are there, India we don't have opportunities, I am very sorry. Even in the pharmaceutical companies, on the research side, on the medical writing side, even on the marketing side of the pharmaceutical companies, the clinical research, and in many other areas, the opportunities have increased. And we don't have a bridging. The requirement of the industry, the requirement of the hospital, the expectations of the patient population or the medical fraternity as a whole, the team as a whole from the pharmacist, if we are not able to match with the current knowledge levels, attitude levels, skill levels of the PharmD. So when your ASK, attitude, skills and knowledge levels of the PharmD matches with what is the requirement by the patients, by the clinical team, by the hospital team, by the industry team, I think there are huge and enough number of opportunities that are available. Even today, one PharmD gets 2 to 3 offers rather than other PharmD do not get any of the offers. Now, why? Because the numbers are less. And second thing, for the regional people who have come up from the regional languages, please learn. Please learn one additional language. Let that be the Indian language Hindi, or let that be the international language English, but be thorough and clear with it so that you are confident. And one more thing, the drug name, the disease name, all these things are going to be in English. So from the second year, please open up your eyes. From the second year, start doing mini projects, start doing mini researches, just a survey, just going and finding out the BMI of say 200 people, the blood pressure of say 200 people. These are all going to be practice knowledge for you, pharmacy practice, the right practices for you, right? So there are people in the fourth year, there are people in the third year who can't measure the proper BP with the manual sphygmomanometer. They don't know whether the sphygmomanometer knob is on or off. So that is so pathetic. You don't take your relatives to such a hospital where people don't properly know to measure. As a nurse, will you take them? No. So please be correct on yourself. Don't point fingers to others that PharmD do not have opportunity, PharmD do not have opportunity. Please remember the three fingers point towards you when you point fingers to the others. Right? So please correct yourselves. PharmD is not a course for just doing it for the sake of putting a doctor in front of your name or just to earn a certificate. Unless you have common sense, presence of mind and passion, where you enhance your skills and knowledge, and you have the right attitude to serve the patient at any point of time, you will have enough and more opportunities. If not, please don't complain. You are actually spoiling the name of PharmD or the Doctor of Pharmacy course, where some or many of the doctors where we are practicing have increased their confidence on us and they have started asking more queries and support from us. So please don't spoil the name of PharmD by being a Daddi fellow, by being a nonsense fellow without common sense and presence of mind, and just have come to take a certificate and put a doctor in front of your name. Please don't do that cunning activity with the PharmD as a degree. And please have common sense, presence of mind, open your eyes and ears, ask questions: when, what, where, why, who, how, all these things. If you are going to be so practical with PharmD, You are going to be a wonderful person in future as a pharmacist, whether it is clinical, hospital, or community pharmacist. There are huge and more opportunities, but opportunities are only available for those who are really, really qualified in terms of skills and knowledge, in terms of a Pharm D curriculum. There is no limit for learning in any subject, for that matter, for any student. Anyone remains a student for their lifetime, right? So it is not that you complete a degree and so you are an authority in a particular thing. No PhD even can talk about that, right? So please wake up and come out, have these five qualities of a student, and while doing research, don't jump into conclusions. Go in a stepwise manner, prepare a protocol. While preparing the protocol, just go through the entire study and practically question yourselves. If this becomes positive, what? If this becomes negative, what? If this is yes, what? If this is no, what am I going to do? How the methodology is going to be? What am I going to include? What am I going? Don't just for the name's sake put inclusion and exclusion criteria. 18 to 60 years included, above 60 and below 18 excluded. When you say included is 18 to 60, above 60 and below 18 is all automatically excluded. You are not planning to trying to make up pages in research, right? Research is just a one point thing ultimately, which is going to serve the patient. So there is nothing like blah 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 stories that you are going to say in research. So everything has to be very meticulously planned, and you should have a emergency protocol. Like that's why you do a pilot study with just 10 people or 20 people. Try to understand what the market is, see all the literatures, understand the last 5 years developments, what has happened throughout in the field. Then you plan what you are going to do. Just don't copy their statistics, that just don't copy their methodology, their design, their inclusion, from the past. Please don't copy all those things. If you are practically, if your common sense and presence of mind allows you and it convinces you really, yes, I am doing a wonderful study, because the study is going to add value to the patient, add value to the doctors, add value to the mass, the general public, there, to my country, to my nation. In terms of taking a policy decision, in terms of pharmacoeconomics, it's going to be less costlier to someone. In terms of therapeutic effectiveness, it's going to be less costlier. Or I have found out something where this drug should not be given in a particular condition because of this reason. All those things are going to save life ultimately. Life is all about karma. You do the good things, you will get the good things. You do the bad things, you will get same what you have done to the life. So it's all about karma. So please keep your eyes and ears open. Be very practical. Convince yourselves on a topic do not arise just like that with an idea. You have to do a lots of studying. When you are thorough with your subjects from first year to fourth or fifth year, you will automatically get hundreds of tens of topics to do a research. You need not wait or think about a topic, because the way you have gone and worked in the hospital, you will have tens of hundreds of topics. Believe me, if you have worked with common sense, presence of mind, and you are very practical and you are a learner, in a resume, just don't put I am a very effective learner because I have got 80%, 90% in Pharm D. 80%, 90% in Pharm D, getting a mark in the theory is also important, but does not mean theory only is important, right? You become a civil engineer. One of your brothers is a civil engineer. He has taken a gold medal. But when we ask him how to build a bridge or how to give me a plan for a 600 square foot home, he do not know. Will you agree him to be a civil engineer or a mechanical engineer or an electrical engineer who don't know how to rewind a coil in the fan's motor? Will you agree to him? No. Will you agree to a doctor who says that, okay, 2 days, 5 days, I have not gone to the class, so pneumonia, I don't know, you go to the other doctor? Will you agree to him? The same way, you are expected to be a solution provider and not a problem creator or an identifier of a problem. We feel happy in identifying a problem and saying that I have found a problem. No, sorry, you are here to give solutions, not identifying problem. Problem anybody can identify, right? So there is an existing system with a nurse, with a doctor, with a dietitian, with a physiotherapist, with a lab technician who is already doing the job. You are there to add value, minimize the errors. In every system, there will be errors, not only in healthcare. In every system, there are errors, right? So we don't say that the entire system is wrong and we run away. No, sorry, we are there to correct it, right? That's the responsible clinical form. What can do? Who can do this? The one who has really studied the topics with openness, with open minds, with common sense, with presence of mind, who really wants to connect or do add value to the patients. That guy can bring in a change, right? So everybody's parents are bringing money. You are given a 6 years enough and a good time in your entire life to study. Please don't waste that time, and please don't spoil the dreams of your parents, right? So, and moreover, we are talking about saving lives. We are talking about bringing a healthier, happier quality of life for all the patients whom we are going to deal with. So please understand that the impact that you can create in the healthcare industry as a clinical pharmacist, or a community, or whatsoever pharmacist you want to go, even as a clinical researcher or as a medical writer or anything, you can add value only when you are confident of yourself. So read things and understand those things, get convinced by yourselves. If you are not convinced, please go get clarified. There are huge amounts of books, there is a huge lot of internet for the information, and do anything based on the evidences and not by you yourselves. And there is a process for anything that you do. So my request to second, third, and fourth year farm days is, please start on working on smaller projects, smaller surveys, smaller descriptive studies, observational studies. If with interest, you can go to any of your teachers and ask, they will be happy to guide you, right? And the number of publications do matter, and what you study in the theory is all going to be, practically tested when you do a research and when you are going to publish. It's a whole lot of practical exercise to test your language, to test your communication, to test your attitude, aptitude, to test your technical knowledge, scientific knowledge, and the way you are going to do it and present it, right? So you become an all-rounder when you publish a research, and research when it is not published is a complete waste of time. So you don't do a research not to publish it, because it will not add value to the scientific gap, or it will not add value to the scientific bundle, scientific tank, scientific store, right? Unless you publish it, it's not going to be valued. So please publish whatever you have researched, and then be successful as a pharmacist, as a clinical pharmacist, and as a Pharm D. Never ever say that Pharm D do not have opportunities. I do not get opportunities because my quality is very poor. I cannot say that, yeah, as an engineer, if I don't get a job, engineers don't get job. I have not got job. Please take responsibility. Don't shrug off the responsibility. And there are opportunities for people who deserve it. Jai Hind. Best wishes.